Okay, I'm going to move us swiftly in now to ballot paper number 6, which you have had time to deliberate, and we'll pull up on the screen in just a moment, and we'll walk through the 4 recommendations that are here. Sorry, can I just, we formally closed ballot paper number 5. I can ask Jesse and Marcus with Kieran to take those away for counting, please. Okay, so we have the first one up, which is 6.1, referral of submissions to inform the development of next national drug strategy, and it sets out in the explanatory narrative what we're saying in terms of the related submissions. Can I have a show of hands if we're okay? Sorry, Bill, did you want to make a comment? Sorry, Bill.
Thank you. Yeah, we just suggesting just around the wording.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So the first one, 6.1, says referral of submissions to inform the development of the next national drug strategy. So a person who is not attending the Assembly might wonder what submissions. So we would suggest submissions received by the Citizens' Assembly on drugs should be referred to the Department of Health to inform the development of the next national drug strategy.
Okay.
And following...
and we'll leave next out, just be consistent with everything else.
Although it does have to be the next, you know. Well,
yeah, okay, just consistent.
And 6.2.
Oh, sorry, we'll take 6.2 in a second, Bill, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill. Jack, and sorry. Table 2. Yeah.
Why was medical cannabis deemed to be outside the Assembly's terms of reference, given that 47 people within the state are being treated with this medicine at the moment? And it's absolutely imperative that people should be given the choice to use it if it helps them with their illness. Surely it's time that, you know, we looked at, or, you know, could see about expanding the programme to include all illness. I wonder if you could answer that question.
Thank you. John.
yeah, well, look, in short terms, and I know not everybody agrees with this, but the Medicinal Cannabis Access Programme is already a regulated programme, legislated for, so it doesn't fall under the terms of illicit drugs use. And that's, I know, a contentious issue among some people who are, you know, passionately interested in looking at the expansion of the Medicinal Cannabis Access Programme, but it's not something that the terms of reference for this Citizens' Assembly mandated this group to look at.
Okay, well, thank you. Jack?
Just in regards to 6.1, I also had some ideas about the wording. In particular, I believe that it should state referral of general public and stakeholder submissions, and it should inform the development and deployment of the next national drug strategy.
Can we go for implementation instead of deployment? Just the usual terminology. Implementation of the next as opposed to deployment.
Oh yeah, I guess, yeah.
Okay,
that's fine.
It's fine. Tab 10 is in.
Sorry, based on the previous question from table 2, I have a concern about our vote result yesterday on voting for the cannabis as changing it from the status quo to house-led approach, and I have a concern about how much it's gonna be to how much effect it's gonna have to recommendation 6.2, and would that change the current legalization?
We're not on 6.2. Sorry, yeah. We're not on 6.2 yet.
Yeah, I just would like to echo what she said.
I know you're coming in behind points. Yeah. Okay, I understand. Okay, can I have a show of hands? We're okay with 6.1 to go as is. Sorry, my apologies. Sorry, just one comment from Rebecca. Okay, show of hands. Sorry, one last time for me, please. Okay, we'll go with 6.1. 6.2. So it's okay. I'm going to call Rebecca and then Noel.
So I would just like to make a comment based on something that was said at table 2 a second ago on behalf of some of my fellow members. The Citizens' Assembly notes the close result on the cannabis decriminalisation status yesterday and calls on the government to recognise and treat cannabis, to recognise the fact that cannabis should probably be treated differently to all other drugs.
And can you just clarify, Rebecca? Can you just clarify your proposal is that wording goes in here on the
No,
recommendations?
it's nothing to do with this. It's a separate comment
Okay.
that I wanted to make, that because
Sorry.
the vote was so close yesterday, and there's a sense that there may have been some confusion around the process, that I just think it's important to have it noted publicly on camera that there is a difference. There was such a fine line.
I fully understand your point.
So I just think it's important to acknowledge that.
I think it's very well made. Your point in terms of reference to the tightness of it, etc., to be reflected in the report, I think is your wording. And does show of hands if the room is agreed that we should reflect the tightness of the report? Okay. Thank you. We'll work something on that. Any other suggestions on 6.2? Table 5 and then table 6 again. Bill will come back to table 1. 5.
Hi, yeah, just in addition to that, while cannabis and other drugs like psilocybin, ayahuasca and mushrooms were deemed outside the terms of reference for discussion, we at the same time had to
please. Sorry, Adele, is it? I can't.
Jean.
Sorry, Jean. No, I can't see. Sorry, I have you there now.
Do you mind if I sit down?
Yeah. No, sorry, apologies. I couldn't see where the mic was.
Yeah, I just want to say that while it's deemed outside of the terms of reference to discuss drugs like cannabis and psilocybin, ayahuasca, etc., we were at the same time asked to vote on these substances. And I feel like there's a bit of bias as we weren't educated on these substances. And human nature is such that if something is unfamiliar or we're not educated on it, then we're more likely to be afraid of that substance. And I'm afraid that there would have been then a sort of unconscious bias against these drugs, and it may not have reflected. I just feel like we should have had education and information about the benefits of these drugs at the beginning or throughout the assembly meetings, and therefore there was a bit of bias.
No, I understand, Jean. Yeah.
I think the answer is similar enough to the question about whether or not medicinal cannabis was inside the terms of reference. The therapeutic benefits of drugs or the potential therapeutic benefits of drugs is obviously an issue of interest to certain members in the room here. But again, it's clearly different from the terms of reference, which called on looking at the harmful impacts of illicit drugs. So you're talking about a possible therapeutic benefit of illicit drugs, which is a different question entirely from looking at how the state can reduce the harmful impacts of illicit drugs.
But if I could just add, at the same time, we were asked to vote on these, which is really important and has dramatic impacts on society. And I feel like we should have been educated more, considering we did have to vote on it. We did have to vote on whether we need to legalise these or not. We weren't informed fully around the benefits and the harms.
Okay, I suppose that the benefits of these drugs is not within the terms of reference. Therefore, there wasn't either a remit or a mandate or time, in fact, to look at those issues.
Okay. Sorry, can we just have hands, please? Okay, sorry. Any further suggestions on no? Table 11?
I have a specific comment that I want to add, but just to...
On 6.2, is it?
Yeah, on 6.2,
okay,
yeah. But just in reference to what Jean was saying, I think if you're actively excluding the therapeutic benefits, then indirectly you are causing harm, and we've contributed to that.
Okay.
So,
do you want to go? Sorry. Floor is yours now. You're okay.
So, like, just following on then, specifically on this recommendation 6.2, I would like to propose an additional sentence at the end of the narrative. I'd like to take away for further consideration, because it's quite vague, nondescript. And I'd like to add, in addition, the action is to establish an evidence base on the therapeutic effects of psilocybin, ayahuasca, ibogaine, to inform policy and practice.
Do you have that written out there? No, just to help us.
Yeah.
We'll come back to tables now in 1 second. We'll come back to Bill and then Aveline. Just give us a chance. get to Evelyn, don't worry. We'll,
Excuse my typos, I'll fix them up afterwards. That's it.
that's as you have it worded now, yeah? Yeah. Okay, Bill on table 6 and then Evelyn on table 1.
Yeah, again, just going back to the wording, 6.2, we suggest that submissions received by the Citizens' Assembly on drug use should be referred to appropriate authorities.
Yeah. In the main recommendation, isn't it? In the main recommendation, Bill, yeah. Decision received by the... Evelyn?
Yeah, I would just like to note in the room, in reply to those comments, that I respect them, but we voted on cocaine yesterday, and we didn't look at the pros and cons of cocaine. We didn't look at the modality, the scientific background as to how it works. We didn't go into a nitty gritty on any drug, so that's just a reply to that.
No, fair point. Okay, thank you. Dolores, sorry, I'll go back to table 6 in a moment. Can we have table 4, please? Dolores, thank you.
Yeah, I just think the last recommendation there, I think it's contradictory to what we're saying. It was outside the terms of reference to be looking at the therapeutic aspects, and yet we're making a recommendation on them, so I think that's contradictory. Yeah. And just as well to go back to the other points in general about the voting and so on yesterday, I think it was very clear what we were doing. And I feel that maybe the voices around, if the vote had gone a different way, there mightn't have been the same objections to the way things were done yesterday.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to stick with 6.2, and Lord's point is made, well made, in relation to this could be outside of our terms of reference, so we'll have to let the room judge on this one. Any other further suggestions? Okay, actually I'm going to, okay, Kerry, since you're there. No, Kerry, quickly, I'll take a quick leave. Okay.
I just think that if 15 or 18 people put up their hands, as I said yesterday, that's 20% of the room didn't understand what they were voting on. So that's not clarity.
Okay, I'm on 6.2.
Even if individual people thought there was clear.
We can keep going, but I'm going to stick with 6.2. Sorry, I wanted someone to table 6, I think wants to come back into this.
Thank you. I'm just raising a point on behalf of the table, which is a concern that referral of certain issues outside of the terms of reference to appropriate authorities wouldn't lead to action, and therefore would like to suggest strengthening of the language in the recommendation, that there be a review of certain issues, and the first one being the use of cannabis for medicinal use, the second one being the process of prescribing legal drugs and risks of addiction.
Sorry, the proposal is that goes in, is it? As
a recommendation, in that there be
we can't have a recommendation outside of our terms of reference. Like we can't. I mean, I'm here in the room, but I can't. We can't facilitate it. Can we? Any other comments? Alana, table.
Thanks. Hi guys, I know this is very topical from yesterday, but just we did deliberate on this yesterday, and it says in the explanatory notes that we haven't deliberated or taken a position. I feel like that's contradictory to what the vote we took yesterday. I realise this is in relation to submissions from the public, but I don't think that wording is correct. I'm not sure how you can fix that.
Yeah, well, just to clarify, so the vote yesterday that was taken in relation to psilocybin, etc., was in relation to, you know, which legal approach would be taken for them, right?
Yeah.
The question of the therapeutic benefits is a different question in a sense, right? So they are two distinct things. So we haven't deliberated on the therapeutic benefits of certain drugs, be it cannabis, be it ecstasy, MDMA, or be it psilocybin, etc. So there's been a lack of a detailed discussion on those issues, and that's because they're not within the terms of reference, that question of possible therapeutic benefits.
Yeah, I understand that. I just feel like that particular wording,
as it is
misleading, because we did actually have a vote on those specific drugs yesterday.
Okay. when we will test this.
So,
Okay.
sorry, could I quickly fix that, Alana, by just saying the issue of the therapeutic benefits of these drugs was not not taking a position on the therapeutic benefits of these potential therapeutic benefits of.
Okay, well, Carl is just trying to do that. Jack, I'm going to move to this one fairly quickly because we're really spending a lot of time on 6.2.
I guess I just wanted to ask for clarification on what is meant by, I guess, the terms and conditions of this assembly. It seems to me as if this whole issue is one in which the assembly holds a particular interest in, and does the sort of the intransigent do the intransigent, in my opinion, terms and conditions, do they come before maybe the desires and wishes of the assembly itself?
The frank answer, and this not to be too blunt, is yes. We have to stay in our terms of reference, which are set by the Oireachtas, elected members. They set it for us. We deliberate on the issues set for us, and we report recommendations based on that. So yes, it's set for us. We have reflected a lot of issues in the report on our recommendations related to our terms of reference. We haven't strayed outside. There's lots of other areas people will have a view on, but it has to be within our terms of reference. It's not intransigence, it's just that's the way terms of reference work.
Yeah, and if I could just give some context about the reason for this recommendation 6.2, it's because we felt, first of all, recognise that there is a lot of interest in these topics among certain members of the Assembly itself, and also from certain submissions received. And rather than simply saying these are not within terms of reference, we're not going to discuss or do anything with them, and off you go on your merry way, this is an effort to do as much as possible while remaining within our terms of reference, which is to simply pass these issues over to the appropriate authorities so that they can consider them and take them on board as, you know, the viewpoints of some of the members of the Assembly and some members of the public and stakeholders who made submissions. So it's doing as much as we can while staying within the terms of reference.
Okay. Go to floor. Have you finalised your wording yet? Is it, show of hands if you're happy with the wording as it is to go to a ballot. A show of hands, only one hand per person, please. A show of hands if you're not happy with it, not happy with this wording. Okay, we'll go with this wording as it is. Thank you. 6.3. Next, National Drug Strategy should include a focus on service and technological innovation. Table 3.
Yeah, just innovation means not reinventing the wheel and basically taking what's already working out there. So I think there should be a statement saying that we should look at what's already working and models working, like prevention and whatever in Iceland, Portugal, or many other countries, and be adapting them to the Irish society.
Okay, looking at best practice internationally, yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's think of something on that. Are you okay with that, just as it is? Maybe it's not so... Okay, thank you. Elaine's waving for table 12, is it?
We were talking about changing the recommendation heading to the line which is in the narrative, which is the next national drug strategy should incentivize and promote evidence-based innovations. Just that entire line is in the narrative.
In the text, was it, Lauren?
Yeah, we should change that line to the heading.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I hear.
Because it makes more sense to the narrative.
Evidence-based. I think the only bit's missing is evidence-based, isn't it?
So Lauren, delete the existing heading and replace it with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we lost international best practice.
We can stick that in.
In the line. Yeah.
We're just going to get...
And change the word good practice to best practice.
two best practices, but informed by best practice. Nationally and internationally, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Informed by best practice nationally and internationally, we'll go for. Can I have a show of hands if we're happy to go with this as it is? As amended, I should say. Thank you. We'll go with that, 6.3. Fine.
Oh, doesn't Zin has another?
Sin.
Thank you. Sorry about that. And we suggest to add in the title to 2.3 that the next national drug strategy should work with the Department of Health and universities and the departments of technology and innovation to deliver the service. And add to the explanatory narrative that to integrate the healthcare unit identifier.
Unique health identifier, was it?
Yes.
Utilised or developed one, was it? It doesn't exist.
That's the existing problem that you need to link the system together.
Okay.
That we've been talking in the last few weeks and the previous votes. And also, when after...
sorry, Suzanne, go ahead.
Sorry. And when designing the software system, and they should have fully regard to the patient's confidential and with following GDPR. Thanks.
The unique health identifier doesn't exist though at the moment, overall.
And to roll out.
Sorry. Okay, you're saying roll out a unique health identifier. Okay, sorry, table 14 had you? We did have a show of hands now, but I'll take
No, I think there's still 2 references to next.
Oh, apologies, yeah. We'll do a full review of next, where it's appropriate and where it isn't, in explanatory texts. Okay, a show of hands was approved on that one, just based on that. If we're still okay, it's only an explanatory change. We'll go with 6.3. Finally, 6.4, sorry, Carl. The next national drug strategy should include a plan to strengthen national research and data system for drugs. Show of hands. Oh, sorry, one table was. Adele, do you have something? Table 5, 12.
Sorry, just to include, so the national drug strategy should strengthen the national research, data collection and data system for drugs, just to specify data collection in there too, please.
Should data collection and system for drugs, yeah. Okay, table 1.
Thank you. So from our table deliberations on this point, we would like to expand the recommendation to suggest the purpose of this research by adding to inform evidence-based decision making. And I have a second suggestion, if I may, please.
You can.
Within the narrative text, on the 3rd line, where it says, on the presentation of data from authorities, so we're on the 3rd line there, we would like to replace authorities with agencies, including community-based organisations. To reference the wording of the last point, 6.3, it's worded as community and voluntary sectors. So basically what we want is just to include the community and voluntary sectors in that paragraph. Thank you.
No, thank you. Can I have a show of hands if we're happy with 6.4 to go to vote? Thanking you. Or 6? 6. It was 6.4, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, but we didn't have much chance to collect as many questions as the previous questions before we show hands on if we could go through. I'm
sorry, Zane,
go
once
to the
I
next
see a hand,
sorry about
once I see a hand up, I'm going to the floor at all stages. I mustn't have seen your hand, but I'm going to the floor whenever I see a hand. So if you have
but we did not. I was still preparing my questions, and it was too fast. And then we did not spend as much time as the previous questions.
And Zin,
I'm sorry,
you now
I
have the
didn't
floor.
want to
You now have the
create
floor.
conflicts.
You now have the floor. It's fine.
I'm sorry about this.
No,
and then,
you
so it's just my a little bit suggestion if we should include the healthcare indicator unit identifier to this as well, and to link all the existing systems and within the regard of the users confidentially and GDPR. And also, maybe we can add to the explanatory narrative to add as a part of the data research to build the data model and utilizing machine learning and artificial intelligence and other technological innovation to validate the effectiveness of evidence models that we are voted before, and including the funding, the healthcare, etc. Thanks.
So, Zin, just on the question of GDPR and patient confidentiality, we've included this now in section 6.3, the previous question. So, would it work to just leave it there and it automatically applies as a principle across any use of technology?
Sorry, it's just in my opinion, and because GDPR is quite crucial for the for software system and the data. So I think it's. I think we do need to mention in both of the recommendations.
There would be. I think we do have it in 6.3, as Carl said, but there would be a natural assumption for any government process and any government system. It has to comply with GDPR. That's just a given. That's a basic qualifier. So
and Zin, just as a quick answer to a very detailed suggestion around the inclusion of our use of artificial intelligence and machine learning, I can just insert a sort of a summary phrase here, which is use of innovative technologies in supporting this. And if that, I think, will encompass all the points that you're suggesting.
Zin, I have to ask you to summarise it, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, just one last comment. As long as we put a part of validate, use the innovation of technology to validate the effectiveness of the rest part that we talked about, the funding and the evidence-based programs and education.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Kerry, was this on 6.4, Kerry? Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Just as a couple of things, there's down near the end in the last paragraph, there's the next drugs, the next
drug strategy.
Strategy again. So
no, I said we'll do an edit and find and all those next. There's a lot of next.
And then there's a sentence just while Ireland has a robust and well-regarded research and data system on drugs, for someone who's been a worker and a researcher and has had a couple of publications in the HRB data system, I think it's actually quite underfunded and under-resourced.
Brian agrees with you down the back there. His hand is up already.
And I don't know if other people would agree.
Oh, he agrees, all right, yeah.
I think it needs an awful lot more funding infrastructure, and that's not to take away from the very good work that's done there. But I was surprised to see that sentence there.
So, Kerry,
so I think there's a huge amount of funding and infrastructure that needs to go in there. Okay. And I think we saw throughout the presentations here a lot of data that was missing because of those gaps within the system. Like even as simple a thing as when we looked at what looked like a sudden increase in women's uptake of drug use, when it's actually the changing patterns of women's drug use that's changed. So I don't know, maybe you can look at rewording that.
Well, I've just suggested here, Kerry, to include, there's a need to further strengthen and resource the system.
I don't know if Brian has a suggestion.
No, he's not allowed. He's not allowed.
Overhaul, revamp. There's much stronger words that I would suggest, but there's other people with much greater expertise in the room. The second point that I had was, we're talking about partnerships between statutory authorities and academic research community. Does the partnership not have to be much, much wider than that? Does it not have to include all stakeholders, the community and voluntary service, the service users, the service providers?
Okay, we can say with all key stakeholders.
But also, can we include service users? Because other government departments are talking about PPI, so I'm not sure why PPI is excluded here.
Okay.
And again, the PPI involvement has to be funded, and that funding has to be named here, not just in the funding recommendations, because otherwise it is forgotten.
Thank you, Kerry. We've had the show of hands table for 6.4, so we'll go with 6.4 as currently being finalised. Agreed? Okay, so can I just, it's going to take us a few minutes to finalise this, get them printed off and bring them back to you. Can I just ask you to bear with us for a quick 10 minutes? We'll get this organised, we'll get the vote back to you, and we'll draw to some conclusions and the results of 5. Have we got results of 5? We'll have the results of 5 in a couple of minutes. So just bear with us for a few minutes and we'll get these printed and out to you. Thank you very much. So could I ask Jesse and Marcus maybe just to validate the boxes or seal the boxes with Kieran before we take the vote for ballot paper number 6, please. So work away at your table, just prepare your ballots if you can, please.
Sorry, could I just make a clarification? On the printed ballot paper that you have, there's still the appearance of several references to the next National Drug Strategy. Apologies once again, they will be removed in the final recommendations. It's just a type.
Okay, if we can seal it. So whenever you are ready, it's I think we are ready. Okay, are we okay? We are ready to take the ballots on number 6, please. Sorry, hold on. You have your bodyguard, Marcus.
Sorry, just while we're waiting for the ballot boxes to be open, could I also clarify? I didn't quite complete the editing of the explanatory narrative in 6.4, so it says PPI at the bottom. That's a reference to me to take on board the suggestion Kerry made earlier, so that'll be incorporated as well. Thanks.
Sorry about this. We have our 2 tellers on bodyguard here. They won't let you near anything.
Are we waiting for
I doubt seal a lock, is it? Box is open. And the other box is open. You're in early. Can I, sorry, Kerry, I need to talk to the floor. Sorry, can I ask everybody, please, have you all put your ballot papers in the box at this stage? We're just going to close it. One last call. I know the last time it took one or two. Are any of the facilitators aware that somebody not back at their table to vote? Any of the facilitators? There is one? No? We're okay? Okay, we're going to formally close ballot process for ballot paper number 6, and we'll try to turn this around. Nobody else? Okay. We close and last Kieran and Jesse and Marcus. To please. I'll do that before we finish, yeah. I'll do that first. I'll do it when I finish. Okay, so we're just going to try to turn this one around as quickly as we can. No pressure, Kieran.